the globe is a fact. So tis globe. That's their reasoning. It's tis globe. That's all they say.
There's something we all know to be true. About this, there's no need to be blue. As plain as the nose upon your face, where straight lines can be replaced. It has to be, all the people sing.
Tis globe, tis globe.
It's such a wonderful thing.
So tis globe.
No corners here, just round and smooth. Every inch a path to prove. A spinning mind is full of grace. A joyous dance in every place. It has to be, all the people sing.
Tis globe, tis globe.
It's such a wonderful thing.
It's tis globe. That's all they say.
No corners here, just round and smooth. Every inch a path to prove. A spinning mind is full of grace. A joyous dance in every place. It has to be, all the people sing.
Tis globe, tis globe.
It's such a wonderful
The
thing.
globe is a fact. So tis globe. That's their reason.
There's no need for logic here. Everyone knows tis globe, no fear. Round and round we go again. Together where joy never ends. It has to be, all the people sing.
Tis globe, tis globe.
It's such a wonderful thing.
It's tis globe. That's all they say.
Shorter than a straight line can be true. If you imagine the shadows gave it you. Tis globe, tis globe.
Tis globe, tis
Everyone
globe.
sing, tis globe, tis globe. It's
So,
globe, it's
tis
such
globe,
a wonderful
tis globe.
thing. Tis globe,
It's tis globe. That's all they say. So tis globe, tis globe. It's tis globe. That's all they say.
It has to be.
Tis globe.
It has to be. All the people
So
sing.
tis globe, tis globe, tis globe.
It's such a wonderful thing.
And we are live. Right, oh, what's that? Keeps it. Yes, good day. This sort of cards on the table theme from, because I came into this, people will keep hearing me say this, right? But this is where it becomes serious. I came into this because somebody was actually calling me a child abuser. And for what? Well, we'll go over that in a bit because it gets a little bit mixed up. The thinking. And that's really what I came here to sort out. I came here into this arena to find a way to help my son grow up and become accustomed to modern day life, 2024 after all. And because he's autistic, and I have to find a way to get him to integrate into modern society. Now, the way I was brought into this arena was by being called this horrendous thing that I was completely unaware of. And that's what brought me into this arena. Now, the initial thing was to point out to the flat earthers, right, that people who aren't flat earthers were being indoctrinated. I don't know. I don't know what's it called. Whenever they get nobbled they used to do it on the Navy, didn't they? They used to get drunken guys and nobble them, get them on the boat, and then that's it. And I think that's what's occurred in this entire arena. I've always said, I'm not a flat earther. But I wanted to help this group of people that seemed to me were being victimised. They were being ridiculed. And for what? It's a bit hard to tell, because at the beginning, I was just saying these things to talk to people. You know, random people were telling me stuff, and I was saying, well, that I can't see how that works. Here's why you've got problems. So I've always been living in the real globe, on the real globe, whatever. There's a nice little clip in a bit. I don't know. I've got a few little clips that I'd like to go over to try and explain this to people. Because this arena that we've entered into, most of the people on this server, on the level, we try and be honest with each other. And people who aren't honest don't seem to last very long. It's a very difficult place to be if you're not going to be open and honest about who you are, what you do. Because your intentions will become clear. There's some people in here that are very smart. No matter what you might think you hear people saying about people that are in here, guaranteed 100% wrong about just about everyone. And I sort of feel sorry, because what I've ended up doing is bringing this thing upon everybody else that's involved around this, and I don't see why. And I think it's you know, it's a sign of modern times. All of the videos and all of the conversations that I've put out, they've all been a documentation of everything that we've been going over. Now, you'll see from some of the videos that we're doing that a lot of people haven't really understood what's going on. And this is why I'm putting the cards on the table. Because I'm going to say, I'm not a flat earther. If you want to come and have a discussion about it, fair enough. But I'm not a flat earther. I can prove the earth is not flat. Now, you may hear certain other things about people, right? Now, I'd say that these other people have developed what flat earth is around some of the things that I've said, which, you know, they've come to conclusions. Their reasoning process can't associate things that happen in reality, provable things that happen in reality, and the real globe. What's the real globe? Well, that's where we all live. Outside. Go and point around somewhere. That's the real globe. You can put all of those pictures together in your mind and have this thing that you're going to call globe. It's not an actual shape, because it's fragments of things that you know. A lot of people would have called it your world in the past. The things that you know, the things that you've experienced. That's all you can work with. You can't go beyond those bounds. Certain people, modern day times, because they don't understand these sort of things, they have gone beyond those bounds. Leads us into strange places. But just let you know that I'm not a flat earther, and I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people just like me that are out there. The earth's not flat. You can see very obviously mountains, valleys, changes in elevation. Now, being able to measure those changes in elevation enables you to have a proof that the earth is not flat. That's about as far as it goes. You still got to put your pieces together. Okay, right. So, should we do the Oakley? 50. Right. Let me get this. So we're going to develop this sort of thing about how people have arguments and where these arguments came from. And I know that I was brought into this from a guy called Fight the Flat Earth. And it seems as though anybody that said anything to this person called Fight the Flat Earth became a flat earther just by the fact that this guy that is called Fight the Flat Earth is fighting with this person. So if you disagree with this guy called Fight the Flat Earth, then he's going to call you a flat earther because then he has something to fight against. And what he does whenever he wants to try and encourage people to come on his channel, because remember, this is at the beginning of his channel. He's trying to get himself as an internet face. So he went round picking on loads of people on the social media platforms, mainly Twitter. But he developed a method to draw people in. That's how I became into this arena. Now, there are quite a few people that also fell for this prank that Fight the Flat Earth did. And he picked a lot of people.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob. Good day. Let me get this thing for you.
Good day.
Right, so this is... we're going over a video. So if you let them know, this is a fellow called Nathan Oakley on the Flat Earth debate show, right? He is a flat earther, but
It also says level is horizontal.
let's say this, share this fun, right? Because we wouldn't want other people to sort of lose viewers. We want to try and get as many viewers as we can for these people. So this is Nathan Oakley, a flat earther, talking with his friend, Brian's Logic. Don't be fooled by the logic part of his name. There's none of that around here. But he's made an observant note. He's noticed something in this. Can you guys hear that? Can you see that? I don't think
hear
everybody
anything.
else needs to, right? So let me turn this volume up a bit. Here we go.
Nathan, to me, it sounds like you're trying to sell everyone the very thing Bev was trying to sell people, which is the real globe.
No.
Yeah.
The globe exists
Yeah.
further right.
Yeah. So Brian's noticed that Nathan's trying to sell the real globe as well. Just like Nathan Oakley tries to do the shit that we've been doing for quite a while, right? We've been doing it for years. There's hours and hours of videos. I'm pretty sure that Nathan Oakley's watched a few of them just recently. Anyway, like at least he might have gone back to listen to a few of them. Or he might just be making this shit up himself. But Brian's noticed, yeah, Nathan's trying to sell the real globe too. Wouldn't that be a turn up for the books? But Nathan doesn't like the idea of that. He doesn't like the idea of being associated with me. So here we go.
Right, I'm not selling them that.
You
No.
are. Let me,
No.
No.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
I'm
you
showing
are.
them around the
You
factory.
don't know that you're doing it, but you are.
Okay, if you say so. No, I'm not. Showing how the
He doesn't know that it is. Come on, Nathan. Hey, you know. Brian can spot these things. Trying to sell the real globe. He's trying to be in competition with me. Nathan, you don't stand a chance, mate. I'm going to be the #1 globe salesman of... I think I might be able to do 2024. I think I've sold the most already. But, I mean, when they tot them up at the end of the year, we'll see. But definitely 2025. Nathan, you've got a deal on. Brian, you can join in as well. We'll sell globes all over the globe.
globe came to fruition for them to believe in it is not me selling them. They've already got the car. I'm saying, look how dangerous the
Look, Nathan's equating the globe to a car that people already have. So you've got to take on Nathan's idea of salesmanship, right? So this is what Nathan thinks he's doing, right? Brian's saying, hey, Nathan, are you sure you're not selling the real globe like Bev? And Nathan's like, no fucking way. Not me. No. They've already got the car. So let's listen. Let's listen to this. This is Nathan's 10-year thing.
Conditions the car was made in. They've already got the car. I'm not selling them the car. What are you on about?
No, Bev's.
No. So that's the Nathan's. Nathan's not selling anything. They've already got it. Tis Globe. Everybody knows Tis Globe. They've already got it. So why do you need to sell it? Perhaps some people have some things that they don't know that they have. Like a religion. That you never knew you had. Does it need to be sold? Nathan thinks not.
Point, right, with that whole real globe thing, because I understood him the minute I heard him talk about it, is that...
Brian understood the minute he heard me talking about it. Brian can understand everything. Except he's never come round and talked to us about it. And this is the first time he's ever mentioned it. That he understood it. He sounded like he was talking shit about us the other week. But, well, you know, so that means he was just dishonest if he understood this the minute he heard it. Because Tis Globe's been going round for at least a couple of years. At least.
Level is horizontal, like it is in reality, on the real globe.
Yep.
In other words, the globe is something that's in your mind that you can choose to be part of and believe in, and not...
No, you don't have to believe in it. It's reality. The real globe is reality. Where else would it be? Well, I mean, what have they been doing? These fools have been in a false dichotomy. Cards on the fucking table. There's a dogmatic globe and then there's the flat earth. Both of them, absolute nonsense. The only place you could ever exist within any of these things is with another one of your opposition. These two, false dichotomy, require each other. And you'll find out, if you're not part of this false dichotomy, these people don't want to know you. And so that's where we are, the real globe. We live with the real people who live on the real globe, who don't really need to be dealing with either of these two groups of people who talk nonsense. We'll get around to it, but I think Brian's getting it. Maybe not.
Well, on
Everything's the same. It's just on the real globe, level is horizontal.
That's incorrect, isn't it? Well, that's a lie. Hold on.
People, they live in a...
It's not a lie, Nathan. On the real globe, level is horizontal. Don't be trying to tell us it's a lie, Nathan, because then you'll have people saying it's a lie to say that level is horizontal on the real globe. You'd be calling people liars that say that level is horizontal. That wouldn't be good. I don't think it would be.
Contradiction.
Stop. No, because that is a contradiction when you say on. I say the way it's constructed.
It's a contradiction when you say on. This guy is a flat earther. And he thinks you saying on the real globe is a contradiction. Anyone any ideas how that could be a contradiction? I wouldn't know. But Nathan's going to tell us.
And then the end result is in. And that's what's on every diagram, because that is how it's functioning.
I'll do a J, right? I'll go back. Maybe 2. Just to make sure you get to, get on board with what Nathan's saying.
It's just on the real globe, level is horizontal.
That's incorrect, isn't it? Well, that's a lie. Hold on.
People, they live in a contradiction.
Stop. No, because that is a contradiction when you say on. I say the way it's constructed, and then the end result is in. And that's what's on every diagram, because that is how it's functioning. If you show me an orbit, it will be described from the centre of hell. That will be its rotation point for an axis with respect to a plane, and its orbital motion with respect to a plane. It's always from the centre of hell. Now, does that mean that I'm telling you that we can stand in hell? Absolutely not, of course not. How we're actually measuring it is with respect to this plane, and when I describe and detail how that gets projected out through Haversine formulation and celestial sphere, accurate mapping of these locations with respect to the ground position, I can then elaborate, if they need me, on how to then convert that into the almanac so that you've got a vague semblance of globe claim within the almanac as well. I can detail all of it, but that is showing them the dodgy brakes, the horrendous work conditions in the Ford factory, not standing in a showroom trying to sell them the globe. They've already bought the globe. Me showing them the origins is not me selling them the globe or telling them they're selling on, which is where you're suggesting Bev does this thing that I'm definitely not doing.
No. Bev is telling them the same thing as you, just in a different way.
Like, all of that bullshit that Nathan just said, right? I'm not doing that at all. When Brian says in a different way, what I'm saying is I can prove that level is horizontal on the real globe. That's all I'm saying. I don't need to talk about all of that other nonsense that Nathan talks about, because I'm just talking about things that can be proved in reality. That's all we're talking about right now. You obviously, because you can prove these things in reality, and we know that reality is obviously a globe, then you put these things that happen in reality on your globe. You do it every day. You've done it beforehand. You may not have realised it. They gave you a model as when you were a child, so you could place these globe things that happen in reality upon it. That's the way it is. You're not going to get rid of that little thing from everybody's childhood that they've placed all of their globe things upon. But you shouldn't try and teach people contradictions about what occurs on the globe, on their globe. And Nathan's just talking nonsense. Reality shit is reality, that's it. Mental.
I'm not.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
He's not.
You can still have your globe. It's okay. But level is horizontal.
Belief. You can still retain your globe belief if you choose to.
Yes.
Yeah, you can just have your globe. You've already got it. Like, does Nathan seriously think he's going to take people's globes off them? Mental. Right? And you can't replace it with something that everybody would know to be true, right? It's not flat. There are mountains and valleys, and people may say, oh, well, nobody ever says that. Well, nobody ever says that mountains and valleys aren't flat, because I definitely say that all the time. And there's a load of people who have a go at me for saying that. But it's the truth. Mountains and valleys are not flat. If you want to have a discussion, if you don't know what flat is, it's about time you started looking at it. Getting the identity of all of these things. Cards are on the table. If anybody wants to come and talk about this sort of stuff, they're welcome to. But these things in reality can be proved. And if reality is globe, we can prove things in reality. Every one of those things that you can prove in reality can be added to all of your proofs of globe. Simple. How you reason it and put it all together, that's up to you, individual people. And there's not much left of this. You can hear the ECV setting in already. Nathan was talking about hell. He's obviously troubled by it, right? It's just level being horizontal in reality on the real globe, where it's not flat, obviously.
That's what he's telling them.
After you know how Earth is measured flat to produce it.
It's not measured flat.
Now, that's giving them the contrast of the measurements with how the globe belief gets produced from them, and then saying, if you choose to still believe this, you can. You can, that's just a matter of fact. I'm not saying you should, or you would, or, you know, in fact, quite reverse. When you know the contrast, you suddenly go, well, why would I believe in that if I know it's measured flat? Yeah, that's where I'm leading them.
Don't know it's measured
as opposed
flat.
to, oh, I know it's measured flat, but that means it's okay because I'm actually on a ball. No, you're not. The functionality is inside a ball, and it gets projected out.
I would point out here, Nathan's doing that fallacy, right? We know that a ball is a representation of a Euclidean sphere, which is a solid shape. And we know for a fact that globe is not a sphere. So that's one of the things. So when Nathan says ball, he's actually putting the idea of this thing that we know it's not in the minds of people. I don't know whether it's obvious to everybody that, you know, globe is not a ball. Otherwise it'd be called a ball. And it's not. It's called globe. And a globe is not a sphere. That's why they have all sorts of different names for it. It just basically means not sphere. Because we know how to prove things within geometry. And it can be proved that globe is not a sphere. Listen to anyone, they'll tell you. It's not a sphere. Last bit.
But that doesn't mean that you can stand on the surface that's projected. But that's how it's functioning for you to believe you're standing on it. It's up to you.
Why can't you stand on the surface? Like, where does everybody else stand? Are you standing on the surface? Is anybody else standing not on a surface? Because Nathan says you can't. Or maybe the surface is a flat earth thing that Nathan says you can't talk about because it's one of the words of one of his friends has wrote down and says you're not allowed to use it.
Well, where does he say you stand when you're measuring the earth flat that you're not?
Don't know. Not on the surface. You can't stand on the surface.
Right.
And project something. But, like, it's just nonsense, isn't it? Like, what's he talking
yeah, I
about?
think so. Does anybody know? I mean, anybody know what you would stand on to measure the earth flat that's not flat?
Surface. He says you can't stand on a surface because Bev says level is horizontal on the real globe, right? So Nathan says you can't use on. It's a contradiction. It's like, why? Something to do with hell and orbits and like nonsense. Crazy.
If you then retain it, it seems unlikely that they would if they understand basic logic at that point.
Yeah.
Fun fact, just a quick aside. If you guys remember the episode that Witsit was on 10 days after.
Elijah comes on, ECV. That's it. There'll be no more mentions of the real globe. But they are talking about it, right? So it's out there. They understand now that there's a dogmatic globe, right? That they've been talking to mad people for, and they've driven themselves mad talking to mad people, I could consider anyway. 10 years, 10 years, Nathan Oakley, and he's come to the fact that he has to ban people that ask him questions about his particular narrative. When we point out inconsistencies, weaknesses in their arguments, do they try and strengthen them? No. They just ban you. Go out. They can't field questions. Right. Now, I've got some other ones. Right. Now, what happened over the past few months, I think the false dichotomy gang have got together and they've decided that the biggest threat to the false dichotomy is the real globe. And they've teamed up and they've slowly taken us out of the conversation. Now, I don't think they've fully done it. There will be people that use certain things that they hear here and they take them out into different places. They may be bad-mouthing us using arguments and certain things. They may have developed their own rhetoric and language around the bigotry that they've now developed for everyone in this server, unfortunately for everyone in this server, right? I think you are all wonderful people, and the people that listen to us as well on the YouTube, because I don't have anywhere else I can post this. You'll hear Nathan Oakley saying, "Thank you for sharing the show." Well, I can only really post this in the Discord and on Twitter, because none of the other Discord servers that we're associated with and we've had chats with and these sort of people, none of them want me to post these shows in their servers. I think they feel threatened. So like we said, we've had a regular viewership of around these sort of numbers. Now, as to how many, because it has been said by these people that don't want us to post our videos anywhere, that 70% of the viewers and the members are sock accounts of these dogmatic globe believers, and obviously the flat earthers that pretend that they don't watch. So if you're out there, then don't be ashamed of watching it. But just remember, the arguments that we make are not flat earth arguments. No matter what anybody tells you, the arguments that I make, because I'm not a flat earther, these are just arguments from reality, right? The whole purpose of me making arguments is for people to draw in a conversation. We want people to come in with a rebuttal, to come back and challenge the argument, rebut the argument. Let's get into that conversation. That's what the whole purpose of making this an old school argumentation. Not shouting and bickering at people, but going over arguments, refining them, coming up with better arguments. That's the whole purpose of it. And they aren't flat earth arguments, I'll state for now, right? There is no argument in favour of a positive argument. You cannot make a modus ponens argument for the flat earth. You can make a modus tollens and say that the earth is not flat. You can falsify a claim of somebody that says that. So you can make an argument, but you can't make an argument in favour of either the dogmatic globe or the flat earth. Both of these sides of the false dichotomy can be proved false. And that's how I know I can say that it's a false dichotomy. Because the arguments that can be made are obviously in reality. You can't make arguments for something that doesn't exist in reality. They can be proved false. You can rebut the claim if it's a bad argument. So that's why I make arguments. To not only challenge myself, but to challenge... well, let's say I just do it to challenge myself. And we can discuss them, mainly for conversation purposes. So I would encourage conversation with either Brian's Logic or Nathan Oakley or whatever. And we know how hard it is for them to communicate with people about things. We've been watching them. I think it's quite funny, but, you know, some people don't. Some people would take offence at them saying that you've been in prison for horrendous crimes. You know, some people would sort of say, don't do that. But, you know, people are allowed to call you a child abuser. They're allowed to just sort of say that they could take you to court and get your children taken off you. It's been allowed. Within this arena, there are Discord servers primarily aimed directly at ridiculing flat earthers. Now, I came into this arena. Oh, thank you very much, gods. And look at all of those members. Oh, Sea Lion Prime. Ah, well done. That's Mordwand. Try drinking. That's another. Sounds like a troll account. But well done. Always thinking of us. I need to make a brew. Well, actually, I've got some videos, right? I've got some more videos. Now, as I was saying, I've been banned, or not banned, timed out, banned from talking or commenting or posting, even sort of putting a thumbs up on comments or whatever. I've been taken off that list for McToons. I found out for racism or being a racist or something. I don't know. I don't know what the was, so I'm still a little bit unsure, but I've been timed out for a week. Apparently, I've been told tonight. I'll put it in the I'll put this in the live chat here. This is Earth is Real. And he says, no, apparently you were banned for racist comment on Toon server. So that's what's going on, right? And obviously, you know what these guys are like with screenshots and stuff. That'd be all over the internet, right? So McToons apparently has banned me. The words got out there to Earth is Real that he's got a room on his server called Bev's Room of Shame, where they attempt to shame me, and I was in there defending myself, and now I've been muted, timed out or whatever for a week, and the words got out to Earth is Real on Twitter that I was banned for racist comments. Now, hopefully we'll get to see these. I'm not on... I don't know what McToon considers racist comments. Don't know. The last comment I can remember making with Elder Bear, I think we were talking about how Brenda's jawline was very similar to Jesse Kozlowski's. Maybe... But I can't see how that's racist or anything. But you never know. You never know. Maybe mentioning Brenda's similar jawline to Jesse Kozlowski, maybe that is a bit racist. Maybe I'm an unwitting racist for saying that. I don't know. So, like, yeah, I don't know. But they're allowed this. I've got, actually, this is what goes along with this. So I came into this because of, being called certain things. And we had this conversation just before, and we were talking to Extremis, right? And he said that he showed us a thing from a guy called Tiny Captain. Tiny Captain has a Discord server that has loads of rooms dedicated to shaming flat earthers, right? And I said, do you not think that blatant show of bigotry is is that not like a little bit shameful for you to just be openly bigoted about this, your hatred of this other group of people? I thought that's weird. But this was his reply. He says, and this is Extremis, who's one of the guys in this arena. He can come in and have a chat, but I think they've given up talking because they embarrass themselves. And their shameful bigotry is okay in text form, but they don't have the kahunas to actually come in and actually talk about this sort of stuff because I think they feel embarrassed about it. But this is what he says. He says, I say, do you not think that blatant show of bigotry is shameful? And he says, not in the least. You can't educate those people that call themselves flat earthers, so you might as well make fun of them. These days, you can't make fun of any class of people anymore. It's not politically correct to make fun of homosexuals, LGBT, Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, Democrats, Republicans, Nazis. You can't insult or make fun of anyone. Except flat earthers. It is still acceptable to insult, ridicule and otherwise embarrass flat earthers and, to a lesser extent, conspiracy theorists. So that's what this guy thinks. Now, who are the flat earthers? And who are the people that allow this, right? Because he said this is the only one group that you're allowed to do this to. Blatant bigotry. Only to this one group. Now, who are they? I'm going to make a brew, and I'm going to get a video that I made quite a fucking while ago. I think it's this one.
Okay.
So that. Right, I'll give you the video for this one as well, because I want to go and make a brew, because I'm parched. Change windows. I'm not going to do all of this, but we'll do most of it. You right? You guys, you can see that. I made this video a bit ago. I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
So the horizontal would be going out from your feet, and that would be the horizon on the water.
That would
level.
be
would keep going out. Yeah.
That would be horizontal. That would be the line defined, or the plane defined as horizontal.
Yes. So from the water level from your feet would go out towards the horizon horizontally.
Yes. When we say Earth is flat or flat earther, we do mean that you think horizontal is level. When we say Earth is flat or flat earther, we do mean that you think horizontal is level. When we say Earth is flat or flat earther, we do mean that you think horizontal is level.
Looking out upon the shore, I found balance and so much more. It's getting clearer all the time.
The Earth is not flat.
All we see are all these dead straight lines, and show me what's in reality.
The Earth is not flat.
And I won't compromise between the truth and lies.
The Earth is not flat.
This is where I make my stand. Please don't take me to your la la land. It's all about geometry.
The Earth is not flat.
All we see is horizontally. Show me what's in reality, and I won't compromise between the truth and lies. Show me what's in reality, and I won't compromise between the truth and lies.
The Earth is not flat.
Reality is all I see. I don't need your fantasy. I've had enough of sophistry. I'll find my own philosophy. Reality is all I see. I don't need your fantasy. I've had enough of sophistry. I'll find my own philosophy, and you can't bend reality into what you think your cog deceives. Something's happening to me. Don't remind me of how things used to be. We don't need no sycophants. Aren't we all just so sick of that?
If
On
I
the
could
surface of
prove
a
to
sphere.
you that a water level was horizontal, would that disprove your sphere?
If you had measurements, absolutely. Yeah, but it's the tangent to the surface. As I said,
The
this is
tangent
just
to the... All right, just a good timing that, eh? So what you just heard there is a song Buster wrote quite a bit ago, and when you hear the lyrics in that, they're about this very subject. These lyrics that were wrote in a time when the discussion was about this very thing. And it was done a fair few years ago. That's an old one. As most of these things are. 2024. 2020, I think. I think I've got 2020 in the clip. So, I mean, that's got to be... It's a fair bit ago, isn't it? Imagine how long we've been here. Going over these things. Trying to tell people. Right? Just to give them a glimpse of what's coming for them. Once they start making arguments. You guys know. They've been making an example of me for years. That's the whole idea of what they're doing. They were doing that so that you guys won't do similar, because you guys know what happens whenever you start speaking about any of these things. You'll either be associated to me or you will get the same treatment that I did. I've just been a public figure for it, right? Now, I've decided, quite obviously, to make everything that I do as public as possible, right? Because I don't want other people like me being brought into this arena and having them to experience the same sort of thing. So the more obvious that they can see me, the more apparent it'll be. Now, I've been saying for quite a while that this whole thing, this arena, surveyors won't come into this arena. And why won't surveyors come into this arena? Because level is horizontal. And when you use a tool called a level, that tool establishes a horizontal plane of reference. But if what you heard McToon say at the beginning of this, he says, anyone that thinks horizontal is level. I'll go back to it. Put it again. 403. Listen to this.
Okay.
So the horizontal would be going out from your feet, and that would be the horizon on the...
We say Earth is flat or flat earther, we do mean that you think horizontal is level.
Horizontal is level. Is horizontal level? What do you think would be the typical answer? Is horizontal level? Not the other way around. Not is level horizontal. The question here is horizontal level? Go back 10 seconds. You can listen to McToon say this yourself. Remember, this is a fair few years ago, about the time when I was being called a child abuser for saying level is horizontal, right? Horizontally.
Yes.
When we say Earth is flat or flat earther, we do mean that you think horizontal is level.
Horizontal is level. Do you think horizontal is level? Does anyone here think that horizontal isn't level? Is there anyone here that thinks horizontal isn't level? Because by McToon's own standards, that would mean there's a lot of flat earthers. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm not a flat earther, but I do know or think that horizontal is level. Yeah. No tilt. That's level. It's also horizontal. Similar thing. Anyone else out there? Anybody else feel brave enough to say, yeah, actually, McToon, I actually think that horizontal is level too. Can you imagine how ridiculous this is? Right? I'm not a flat earther, and I'm not going to be forced into being a flat earther because some dickhead called McToon says that he's going to call you a flat earther for saying that the thinking that horizontal is level. But let's get a bit more into this. Right.
It's the tangent to the surface. As I said, this is just
to the horizontal.
So you just
tangent to the surface. Tangent to a horizontal. Now, that may sound like a little flippant thing, but bear in mind, tangent to what?
Simple geometry. If you have a 2-mile long water level on the surface of a sphere, then the center of that water level is the tangent plane to the surface.
Is that higher than the both ends of the water level?
Then it would be, yes.
Point?
Yes, it would.
On a sphere, the center of a water level would be higher than the outside tubes.
Correct. Absolutely.
Neptune's 2020.
Absolutely. Yeah? That is.
There you go. Everyone get that? Did you hear that? This is McToon. Because we're going to be going over this. He has, or his moderators have muted me, silenced me, in the room that they have over there titled Bev's Room of Shame. So he can't talk about this. Nobody else over there can talk about any of this. Go back over it again. Go listen. Higher than the both ends of the water level?
Then it would be, yes.
Point?
Yes, it would.
On a sphere, the center of a water level would be higher than the outside tubes.
Correct. Absolutely.
Neptune's 2020.
Absolutely. Yeah? That is how it works.
That's how it works. It's not. But that's how it works to a dogmatic globe believer who wants to label somebody a flat earther for knowing that horizontal is actually level. Yeah.
Can we also bring up the fact that you said 2020?
Yes, 4 years ago. This is 4 years ago. Nobody cared. Nobody bothered. This sort of stuff's been out there. And listen,
they were too busy. Hang on, Bev. I'm sorry, Bev. They were too busy worrying about their black swan fallacious argument.
Well, no, that was the distraction, wasn't it? I think that was the distraction. They were working, in tandem with the false dichotomy. Because, this doesn't look good for the dogmatic globe. But like we say, it's not flat. And I've only ever lived in the real globe, like me missus, like me dad, like me son. Like, we're not flat earthers. But we do live in reality, and we have proofs of reality. We have tests that you can do for yourself in reality. And we know that the Earth's not flat. Simple. Like, anybody wants to come and talk about it, come over. But be sure that you're not going to be coming over here talking to flat earthers about flat Earth, because we're not. I think flat Earth is a load of nonsense. Nathan Oakley and the Flat Earth debate crew have taught me that flat earthers are pretty horrible people, to be honest. They lie about you. They make up stories. They misrepresent you. They're just not even worth talking to, really. But I am fascinated at how they want to talk about the stuff that we've been talking about. Except they want to try and make it flat earth shit. And we've been saying for ages, not a flat earther. These arguments aren't for flat earth. The earth is not flat. So I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, this is quite good stuff from McToon. These are 2 30-odd minute videos, and we won't go over the whole thing. If
on the surface of a sphere,
to you that a water level was horizontal, would that disprove your sphere?
If you had measurements, absolutely. Got any measurements?
Water level is horizontal.
Yeah, it's measurable.
Oh, yeah, it's measurable.
Yeah, it's measurable.
Got any measurements?
You want me to provide you with measurements that the water level in a canal is horizontal? True.
The entire surface of it, yes. Is the surface of that water of that canal is it matching a plane or does it curve? That's the question.
It's just flat and gorgeous to see. Flat and gorgeous. It's just flat.
From Try Thinking. Do you think water level has a curvature, and can you prove that you are correct? Yes, level does mean curve. Basically, level is level with the center of mass. So, you obviously think level means flat. It doesn't, but it doesn't, it doesn't, but it doesn't, but it doesn't.
Right, so this is a compilation, obviously, of a lot of these people from this long ago talking about this sort of stuff. Now, you've just heard a guy called Seek Truth, Speak Lies, or something like that, who's obviously an authority on stuff, and he said that level doesn't mean flat, which it doesn't. I don't think anybody's ever said that. I've certainly never said that. What I say is that level is a straight line on a horizontal plane. But what McToon is asking people, he's saying, is horizontal level? That's the main question that we have to ask now. Thanks, McToon.
Well, if they're both orientations, and flat is not an orientation, level and horizontal can be the same thing, right?
Well, yeah.
Because they're orientations.
The way I like to look at it is that the level is the tool and the horizontal is the plane established by the tool. But level, within the word itself, right, it's balanced. The whole thing. So it's about an equal level. So what you've got to say in respect to the water level, that these 2 points are an equal vertical height. The level is the vertical height, and the level, the tool, establishes 2 points of an equal or more, 2 or more of an equal vertical height. And so therefore they are of an equal height, establishing what we call a horizontal plane of reference. That's in reality on the real globe. And we use these tools to measure elevation changes, and these elevation changes prove that the Earth's not flat. Simple. Dead easy. So, not flat. The real globe, not flat.
I'm sorry, Bev. This is when they call you pedantic.
But they can call me pedantic all they want. That was accurate information. If anybody wants to rebut any of that stuff, come and... But don't rebut it by saying it's pedantic. It's either accurate or not accurate.
I'm not saying you're being pedantic, Bev. I agreed with every statement you made there. I just know that this is the point where now you're just being pedantic, Bev.
Well, I like to be precise.
You know what I mean?
Came from Twitter.
I agree.
You only had
150
characters. You had to make your point as concise as possible. Forgive me. Thank you very much, Gods. God says, Bev said earlier on my drive home that there are some great minds here in this Discord, and I'd have to concur. Best chat, frankly, and freest in the community. Thank you very much, Gods. Although I don't know what community you're talking about, because apparently Nathan Oakley set up his community and he's expelling people from it. We've already been expelled from that community. As I think most of the people around here have been also. So, yeah, if there is a community, then it's this community here, the On The Level community. And you have to be thick-skinned, let's say, to be able to be around here. But that's what makes the you know, people worthwhile. The conversations are worthwhile. Come in, test us out, see whatever you think. Back to these videos, right? Remember, McToon is the one that's laying down this thing that occurs in reality as being a flat earth, right? He's saying he considers it flat earth. Most people who live in reality, they don't. I don't consider it flat earth. It's just something that happens in reality. And I know reality to be not flat. So that's simple. I stick to this code of non-contradiction. Euclidean principles, I call it. But it's just basically the laws of logic. The basic fundamentals. Here we go.
Destroy shit, pinpoint asteroids in orbit, then hurl y'all thousands of miles an hour towards it.
Well, I was just about to get to the point that, like, if you were looking at the horizon and then going up to right, let me know if this sounds familiar at all. And just remember, it's a long time ago. Even Arwin is in the chat. That's how old this is. I'll put this back again. Listen to this. See if it sounds familiar. Well, I was just about to get to the point that, like, if you were looking at the horizon and then going up to a star or a light in the sky, then that straight line towards the horizon is a straight line. It's not a curved line. So you need that straight line. That's one of your straight lines. So
the level surface drops down from the horizontal plane at a rate of 8 inches times the distance in miles squared.
That's Jesse Kozlowski. There ain't no curve there, even when you're doing that sort of measuring angles from the horizontal right up to the stars in the sky. It's still a straight line you've just laid down at the floor. It has to be a straight line.
Okay.
So that the horizontal would be going out from your feet, and that would be the horizon on the water.
That would
level.
be
would keep going out. Yeah.
That would be horizontal. That would be the line defined, or the plane defined as.
See, what I'll have to point out here is that when we came here, we were the ones that brought this argument. We discussed these sort of things here in the server, and these are conversations that came about because we were making statements. Now, I will say now, I'm not a flat earther. I have to keep saying this. When I was making this argument, I wasn't a flat earther. The people around me, does it matter what anybody else is? As far as these conversations are going? I mean, I do have friends that are admittedly flat earthers. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not one of these people that's bigoted towards any group of people. Particularly.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we put up with you, Rob. I mean, who else would? we don't mind. People are people. And most of this stuff is just about being able to talk to people about things. And most of this stuff is, you know, hopefully it's not related to any of the nonsense that goes on around these arenas. It's mainly the conversation trying to sort out the nonsense that gets talked around this arena. So this is a long time ago, me making this particular argument or statement, really. I'm just pointing out to people that if you're measuring an angle, then an angle requires two straight lines. It's a basic geometric thing. That's all I was pointing out.
It's horizontal.
Yes. So from the water level from your feet would go out towards the horizon horizontally.
Yes.
Right, so that's McToon. And McToon agrees, because this is at the beginning of these arguments. I mean, why would anybody disagree about it? These are things that happen in reality on the real globe. And as you can hear, McToon, he's agreeing. Because, I mean, anybody would. Who would disagree with any of these statements? Except McToon said, as you heard him, anyone that says that horizontal is level. What did he say that? Would he say that of himself? Or would he say he's misspeaking here? I don't know. It gets worse, though, for McToon. I bet that's a bit hard work, that, right, B-ball, to you like put that in your brain and then imagine that there's some sort of curve underneath that somewhere. Like it's a tangent, apparently.
Yeah, it's measurable.
The level surface drops away, drops down from the horizontal plane at a rate of 8 inches times the distance in miles squared.
Now that clip you've just heard there, that's Jesse Kozlowski. He was a guy who used to pretend to be a surveyor. He's had to leave the arena because he said that very thing. It was sort of one of the things I came into this arena for. I wanted to be able to talk to Jesse because I had questions. He was saying some stupid shit. And that particular clip was the first time I ever got to talk to him. First and last, actually, since that was the last time he ever talked publicly. I think he realised he said some stupid shit. And but luckily, we did get it clipped, so if anybody wants to go over it, if anybody does want to discuss any of these things, I think on the Level Discord server is probably one of the safest places because you should be warned, you don't want to nutsack yourself. And if you go about this particular train of thought in the wrong way, it can come out. It can be harmful, let's say, but you may already be. I don't know.
Yeah, it's measurable.
Geometry must be a killer. No wonder that you guys don't want to talk about it. No wonder you don't want to talk about it. That's like 4 or 5 years ago. Who wants to talk about it? No one. Nathan Oakley, do you want to talk about it? Brian's Logic, do you want to come and have a chat? McToon, Fight the Flat Earth? Dave McKeegan? Simon Dan? Anyone want to have a talk about any of these inconsistencies or problems that you're going to have? No? No, just, you know. False dichotomy will survive.
They would rather talk about us not wanting to do math all day. They never bring up the math.
Yeah.
Sounds like he doesn't want to talk about anything.
Projection. They got their stories down now. Like that, it reminds me of the movies. You know, let's get our story straight.
Well, they must proof.
Where's the side chat gone?
I think he means a lake on the other.
Couldn't wait. Degree curve over 69 miles.
Okay.
69 miles.
So is that, are you putting like a geometric edge there within that picture?
Yeah, it's measurable. Putting a geometric edge.
Well, like if you say there is a curve, then that you're saying geometric shape, right?
I'm not putting it. The Earth is doing it.
No. You said curve. Like you put a 1 degree curve, right? That then makes it a geometric shape that we're looking at. So that has a geometric edge as you're looking. So is that what you're putting there to make the blockage?
Well, if you model it, it would probably match exactly the same.
Okay, so you are actually putting a geometric edge there within that picture.
Okay.
So the horizontal would be going out from your feet, and that would be the horizon on the water.
That would
level.
be
would keep going out. Yeah.
That would be horizontal. That would be the line defined, or the plane defined as horizontal.
Yes. So from the water level, from your feet, would go out towards the horizon horizontally.
Yes.
Roughly, yeah.
So okay, so that would be measurable, right? And it wouldn't be. Okay, so I'll get the other. Get the other one.
Let's.
Right. Okay, so that was just a few clips of some stuff. Here's another one. Beverly. Oh, Iridium, you think this is my fan fiction? Like, you can hear them saying it. 4 years ago. Rebut any of the arguments. Just call it fiction. Best to call it fiction, right? This never actually happened.
Let's see. We've got James A. for £5 says, Bev thought a water level gave him horizontal, but you didn't pick him up on it.
But we did.
Yeah, but it's the tangent to the surface. As I said, this is just
to the horizontal.
So here, just simple geometry. I'll say it again. I'll say it. This is high school geometry here. If you have a 2 mile long water level,
I think that now this is a level, not a water level.
Yeah, that's not the same thing, is it?
A water level does establish a horizontal. I'm not arguing the horizontal plane defined by the water level. I'm perfectly fine with that for 1 point.
Okay, so McToon's not arguing the horizontal plane established by the water level, right? He's fine with that. And so, but he is saying that if you think horizontal is level, then he's going to call you a flat earther. But he's all right with the water level being a tool for establishing a horizontal, or at least he was. It may have changed. This may have been a misspeak or something. Maybe he didn't really understand the argument that he was talking about when he was saying it. But, this is all I've been trying to point out. That everyone has their own globe. On my globe, level's horizontal, and I can prove it. There's no contradiction. I can just show you how it works and say, look, there. This is the real globe. Like, we live on the globe, right? Everybody knows it is globe. So here, this proof is a proof that we live on the globe, right? It wouldn't happen any other way if we didn't live on the fucking globe. So, but remember, McToon, he's got the right to reply. He can come back and say this, whatever he wants.
On the surface of a sphere, then the center of that water level is the tangent plane to the surface.
Right, so I'll cover what a water level is. Imagine you have a tube and it's connected, right? So imagine these two ends are connected. And you put water in them, right? And the top is open so like the water can flow up and down. What'll happen is they'll level out and they'll stop moving and they'll sit there like this. And when you sight across the top of them,
right? You can always tell a dogmatic globe earther, right? Is that he thinks a water level is a sighting tool. It's not. One of the things about a water level, one of the characteristics of it is that it doesn't require a sight line. You don't need to know to be able to see both ends, because that these two ends will be of the same vertical. That way we can establish a horizontal plane. You know that. But McToon gives himself away here by saying sighting water levels. We had a joke, as you can see on the screen. It's called the dark shark. It was a thing that DP and I had a bit of a joke about, sighting water levels and the equipment. So if anybody does want to take that up, it's a dogmatic globe measuring tool, sighting water levels. McToon will show you how to use them. But I mean, business opportunities, you could always sight a globe with a sighting water level.
That establishes a horizontal for the position that's right in the middle of them, right?
So, right in the middle. And remember the tangent bit that he had earlier, right? I asked, a tangent to a horizontal? Well, this is where that comes from. Because it's an old globe thing, a dogmatic globe thing. Right? The horizontal point. But that's where it's tangent. Tangent to a horizontal. Very fucking clever. Bet you didn't know that. It's a requirement of the dogmatic globe. McToon's going to explain it here. That higher than the both ends of the water level?
Then it would be, yes.
Point?
Yes, it would.
On a sphere, the center of a water level would be higher than the outside tubes.
Correct. Absolutely.
McToon's 2020.
Not for this position and not for this position, just for the middle of those two positions.
Just the middle.
Now,
it's higher.
If the Earth is flat, that horizontal will be the same everywhere, right? So you could go
everywhere. Horizontal would be the same everywhere. Now, I know I get called for being pedantic and what, words I use. But does McToon here mean the same horizontal everywhere? Or just that horizontal is horizontal everywhere? Because, I don't know how he's... Because, you can definitely say that the horizontal I have here is of an elevation that may be different than somewhere else's. So it wouldn't be the same horizontal somewhere else because, horizontals are parallel, right? Different elevations, different horizontals. But horizontal is always horizontal, the orientation. Let's have a go.
Those two positions. Now, if the Earth is flat,
but the Earth's not flat. We already know that, right? And for differential leveling, it requires the horizontal planes to be different. It's called differential leveling. They're different horizontals. I'm not too sure whether, he does think you have to sight a water level. So he's not got much practical skills in any of these things, right? So he doesn't really know what he's talking about. But, he is an expert of this dogmatic globe, apparently.
Horizontal will be the same everywhere, right? So
let's go back again, because on the screen, there's a thing that says Emma says... mind your P's and Q's. So there might be an argument there. Let's go back a bit. So we can just sort of... higher than the outside tubes.
Correct. Absolutely.
McToon's 2020.
Not for this position and not for this position, just for the middle of those two positions. Now, if the Earth is flat...
If the Earth is flat does actually sound like an argument coming from McToon here, doesn't it? If the Earth is flat, right, there's your P statement. Let's see, here we go.
That horizontal will be the same everywhere, right? So you could go a mile away and establish and use the same tool to measure a horizontal at the point that's between them. And so then you have two horizontals.
The point that's between them? Why would you want to bother about the point? You could use a a level over, like, because both of the ends would have an equal elevation, right? Yeah, an equal altitude, an equal vertical, equal potential, equipotential. Like, what, I don't know what you want to call it, right? Those two ends of the water level, the tool, would have an equal vertical height. I mean, if then
horizontals, and then you could test to see if those two planes are parallel to each other.
What two planes? Let's go back over it again, right? Because we are sticklers for logic. And McToon is the aforementioned expert, although we have caught him lying to the congregation of Will Duffy's church.
Not for this position and not for this position, just for the middle of those positions. Now, if the Earth is flat, that horizontal will be the same everywhere, right? So you could go a mile away and establish and use the same tool to measure a horizontal at the point that's between them. And so then you have two horizontals, and then you could...
Two horizontals? What's he talking about? Like I say, I'm not too sure if McToon is very practical about this, but if you've got a water level and it's a mile long, then there's one horizontal between the two of them. It's a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference, right? But McToon seems to think there's two. He gained another horizontal from somewhere. Listen again.
And use the same tool to measure a horizontal at the point that's between them. And so then you have two horizontals, and then you could test to see if those two planes are parallel to each other.
What two planes? You just got one tool over a mile. See, this is what I'd like to ask McToon. Hopefully this will bring it around, since he's muted us over on his Discord server. Although they do attempt to shame me, and they think that we're not worth talking to. But, I mean, these are the conversations that people should be having, because McToon doesn't seem to be talking about the real globe. He's talking nonsense. He doesn't seem to know what occurs in the real globe, right? He's been stuck in his email thing for far too long, chasing flat earthers, that he seems to have forgotten about the real globe. But, I mean, hopefully we'll get around to talking about that, to shoring up these arguments in reality on the real globe.
If the Earth is spherical, then those two planes of horizontalness for that point will diverge from each other.
Right? Do you want to go over that globe bit, right? Because I don't know whether people are aware of McToon and his dogmatic globe argumentation. But let's listen to this.
Each other. If the Earth is spherical, then those two planes of horizontalness for that.
Those two planes of horizontalness for that point. Those two planes of horizontalness for that point
will diverge from each other.
Will diverge? They will diverge from each other. I got to do that again, right? Without me interrupting. Just imagine, you know, like you're one of these committed dogmatic globe believers, and you've got McToon on. It's like, who's there? Oh, Spasticus. McToon and Spasticus. Let's have a go at this. Come on, McToon. Give us some dogmatic globe logic.
A horizontal at the point that's between them, and so then you have two horizontals, and then you could test to see if those two planes are parallel to each other. If the Earth is spherical, then those two planes of horizontalness for that point will diverge from each other. That is how it works
So if
on
I
the
could
surface
prove
of a
to
sphere.
you,
And that's what he needs to test. He needs to test to see if horizontal at two different places are the same. Absolutely. That is how it works
so if
on
I
the
could
surface
prove
of a
to
sphere.
you that a water level was horizontal, would that disprove your sphere?
If you had measurements, absolutely. Got any
That
measurements?
Water level is horizontal.
Got any measurements?
You want me to provide you with measurements that the water level in a canal is horizontal. True.
The entire surface of it, yes. Is the surface of that water of that canal? Is it matching a plane or does it curve? That's the question.
I'm familiar with the.
Okay. So, McToon offered this up a bit ago. Now, I don't know if anybody's really aware of what we call the Realising Euclid Test, and to show exactly what the Realising Euclid Test is. But it's to show that a straight line lies within a plane. It's a Euclidean principle test to show how the Euclidean principles of basics, the formulation of mathematics, how that relates to reality, to make those Euclidean principles real. I call it the Realising Euclid Test. And my particular Realising Euclid Test involved spot on level and my sons. We performed this straight line within a plane, which is actually what McToon's asking for. But again, I will have to state, I am not a flat earther. These tools are how we know the elevation changes prove that the earth is not flat. Established, it's so easily shown by a canal and the vertical change of the water levels being established at the locks. Otherwise, the canal surface equal a horizontal plane of reference. But McToon calls that flat earth. But I mean, it's just reality. And we all know that it's not flat. Reality, it's not flat. So it can't be a flat earth. It must be the real globe. But McToon seems to think it anyway. And this is one of the first cuts of the Buster song. But this one, I think, this one's a bit more poignant. It might have changed its meaning from this. But this is where the first, I think, this is where Buster's, I don't know, what was it called before this? Can't even remember what it was called. Anyway, world famous Buster.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's always, I mean, as far as I remember, it was
Looking for the Truth, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Sounds familiar. I don't think it might have been one of those ones that didn't have a title.
Yeah, I'd never really titled the songs.
You always leave it for everybody else.
Yeah. But yeah, True Level Bitch.
Yeah, so I'll let this one play through.
Bubble, Morty. I also dabble in precision, and if you think you can even approach it with your sad, naked caveman eyeball and a bubble of air, you're the reason this species is a failure, and it makes me angry. You want to experience true level? Do you?
Yeah, that's my globe.
You want to experience true level? Do you? Wow, it's so... Oh my God! Oh Christ! Yeah, true level, bitch. Yeah, true level, bitch.
Everybody knows that you're wrong.
I'll go and little.
Oh yeah, it's measurable.
You want to experience true level? Do you? Yeah, true level, bitch.
Wow, it's so. Oh my God. Oh Christ.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
But I love Flat Earthers.
My name's Ramsey.
The Earth is flat.
I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little.
My name's Ramsey.
Oh, everything's crooked. Reality is poison. I want to go back. I hate this.
What's his deal?
Shh, Morty. Go to school, Summer. I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little. Yeah, true level, bitch.
Like that's the thing. Your vision is already being obfuscated by the spherical cap.
You want to experience true level? Do you?
Parallel lines will intersect.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
Level means curved, right?
Yeah, true level, bitch. I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little. Well,
You seem to be in charge of what I get to remember.
My name's Ramsey.
Good question.
Yeah, true level, bitch.
Water is demonstrably not level.
Straight lines can curve.
You want to experience true level? Do you?
People have measured the surface of water to be curved.
Yeah, true level, bitch. Yeah, true level, bitch. Yeah, true level, bitch. Yeah, true level, bitch.
Maktoon, if I may, can I have one final question?
True level, bitch.
Okay, what a tune. Chills.
Yeah.
Like for the first time. The lyrics and everything. I hope you people will appreciate this. It's probably one of the finest songwriters in the fucking business. In the arena, let's say. Community.
I want to say one thing. I think Buster's music is 10 times better than any of your AI songs. I'm sorry, Bev.
Of course. It's real music.
Yeah, I told over the stuff for quite a while. Yeah. I like the AI stuff. It's fun. Like,
yeah.
It's just fun to just plug stuff in, see what happens.
I'm not knocking the AI stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just saying Buster is best.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into that, though, right? A lot in the background.
I did all of that myself.
Yeah.
Like, I know the drums it's a drum track, but I had to like pick all of the drum tracks. I had to do the guitar, the bass,
yeah,
certain
that's
things
some
I did
fucking good work.
Anyway, so that's one of my favorite. What I liked about that song wasn't that, like, the lyrics came from the conversations we were having, right?
Mm.
The whether they were with McToon or whoever, all those people, and then just in our sessions, just chatting, those lyrics came from there. Like, that was special. The music was special because Emma was like, "Hey, I got this song, check it out." And I listened. I was like, I think I could do a song similar to that, like in that style. So that was like Logos, And then when you did the Rick and Morty on it, like, that put the icing on the cake with the video. I was like, it was just, I don't know, it was special. Anyway,
yeah.
My favorite.
Some good times, right? All of these times that we're talking about here, It's what these people managed, and McToon, he's changed this argument, because this argument wasn't around before we turned up. We've literally given this argument to people, but it's only because certain groups of people said some really stupid shit. And we said, no, there's a real globe, right? Just because they're saying that you're a flat earther doesn't mean that you should accept a contradiction of that they're pushing on you. Nobody should be forced to do that. That's what these people are doing. They're trying to ridicule people. Like Extremis said in the chat earlier, you can't attack anyone nowadays except one group, flat earthers. But who's the one that gets to put people in that group so you can attack them? Is it McToon? Is McToon saying that he can call people flat earthers and then Extremis can just come and attack them because it's socially acceptable to attack all of these so-called frantic bunny ear flat earthers? Because if that's the case, all you have to do is you have to think that horizontal is level. Go and ask someone. You'll find out who the flat earthers are, according to McToon. And then it's okay for you, apparently, to openly be a bigot towards this group of people. So says Extremis. And I think McToon, and there's quite a few people that you know around this arena that have specific channels dedicated to this open bigotry of a group of people that you seemingly can say anything about. But as you've just heard, McToon, and I think a lot of people nowadays consider, horizontal being level as something that happens in reality. I don't think they're aware of this group of bigots that can assign anyone. I'm pretty sure that they also think that horizontal is level. I think they'll tell you that horizontal is level as well. But they can have this bigotry against people that know that the Earth's not flat, but can also prove these facts of reality. And these are conversations that we've had years ago with lots of people within this arena. Again, I'm not a flat earther.
On the twin boat paradox, I just want to get clarity. According to what you think, when does the water, because you said there's a curve eventually, fine. When does that curve start? I want to know. From the bow of the boat, it's touching the water now. When does the curve start?
I can make it more clear.
Right, what you have to remember here is this is at the very beginning, when we were making this argument. Now, because this hasn't really been discussed, and their way of actually dealing with these problems is to deflect. That's what's happened. But what you're going to listen to now is what occurs when you take people on a journey to aporia. Geometric.
It's always curved. It never starts. It's always there.
So immediately, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. You've been a great sport. We'll leave it at that.
Can I just come in here now? I'm going to post a little, it's only a 23-second clip. This is one, and then there's another one, right? Do you want to have a listen to that? Because you seem to contradict it.
Just a second. Okay.
So the horizontal would be going out from your feet,
Listening.
and that would be the horizon on the water.
That would
level.
be
would keep going out. Yeah.
That would be horizontal. That would be the line defined, or the plane defined as horizontal.
Yes. So from the water level, from your feet, would go out towards the horizon horizontally.
Yes.
Okay. And I'll just get you another one that just to have
That was
a
okay.
little list.
That was great. Bev.
So, Bev, what's your question?
Well, wait a minute. I'll get one more. There's one more clip. This one. Okay.
Why he's getting it. Thanks, Mattoon. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you're welcome.
That other one there that I've just posted. That one.
All right, listening. Well, that's. I'm not arguing the horizontal. Okay, so what's your question, water level? I'm perfectly fine with that.
You've said in both of those clips that the water level is a horizontal plane.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did you just say to SE that it was dropping from your feet?
Yeah. So here's what it is, Bev. I'll explain again. And I think I did it before when I talked to you before, but it defines a horizontal plane tangent to a single point on the surface of the curve.
Mm-hmm. To the horizon, from your feet to the horizon.
No. A horizontal plane. That's what you said in tangent. Let me just clarify. Mm-hmm. It defines a horizontal plane tangent to a point on the surface of a curve. And if anybody has ever done calculus, you get to explore these concepts a lot.
He wants to explore these concepts. He's like he thinks he's some sort of a wizard, right? He can wave his magic wand of calculus and get out of this place, right? Frantically waving it at the minute. I don't know whether he knows he's on a trip to Aporia, but he's doing this himself, right? This is why people ban me from conversing with them because of things like this, right? So McToon is now he's made a tangent somewhere. We were just talking about a horizontal, but listen to this.
In the introductory calculus things.
So can I go over it again? From your feet to the horizon when you are stood at the water's edge, which is what we were talking about, that is horizontal, but you claim that is a tangent.
No.
Okay,
from your feet,
off a tangent. Right, okay.
From your feet to the horizon,
mm-hmm.
You can define a plane. You can define a plane anywhere you want,
mm-hmm.
but the plane from your feet to the horizon is not horizontal at your point. It diverges from horizontal at your point.
But you did say it's a horizontal plane in that clip, right?
Well, maybe I misspoke. Maybe you misunderstood.
And that other one where maybe he misspoke now, right? Although he did say from your feet to the horizon, that's a horizontal plane, right? But that was a misspeak. We can go round to a thing in a minute, but remember this, right? That was a misspeak. What's the solution? You said that the horizontal plane of the water level is not in contention.
Like I said, and I'll say it again,
mm-hmm.
and please don't misquote me again or misunderstand me.
It's like you did
right?
it.
You can define a horizontal plane tangent to one single point on the surface of a sphere. I'm not arguing the horizontal plane defined by the water level. I'm perfectly fine with that.
So when a water level has 2 points, do you mean the plane from one point to another, like on the water level?
The plane that is then defined by that. Well, that with 2 points of a water level, you only get a line. You don't get a plane. Say so if you had 3, you could. But we can extend it once we talk about.
You can move the water level ends wherever you want, and it would be a horizontal plane. That's why we call it a horizontal plane.
Yeah. So you have two parts of a water level. The point that is
equidistant. Hang on, it only needs 2 points.
Rob, please.
The point that is equidistant from both sides of the water level,
that point there, so right in the middle, the horizontal plane is right at that point.
So, but it would all be horizontal. That from one water level to the other end, that entire line with the bit in the middle that's horizontal as well. Like all of it's horizontal, isn't it?
Yeah, and that will diverge from the line to the horizon,
but not from the line to the water level.
Yeah, the line between the two water levels, is a line, tangent to the curve at the point, at the midsection point.
So the water level does establish a plane.
It does establish a plane, and that plane diverges from the surface of the Earth.
Classic. Do you want me to go over it again?
Midsection point.
So the water level does establish a plane.
It does establish a plane, and that plane diverges from the surface of the Earth.
The water level establishes a plane, and that plane, what does he say? So the water level does establish a plane.
It does establish a plane, and that plane diverges from the surface of the Earth.
Diverges from the surface of the Earth? Classic. Can't argue with that, can you? That's totally globe. Yeah, I don't know whether it diverges up or the surface of the Earth goes down. But the one thing that we do know is that a water level establishes a horizontal plane. We can at least agree on that, right? Thank you very much, McToon. The plane that the water level makes diverges from the surface of the Earth. Can I just get a clarification?
Yes. Yep. The
clarification. Yes, he was certain, but he is in aporia, and this could be a McToon misspeak.
2 points of the water level.
It is early on.
You draw a line with that, and you can extend it to a plane. That line will diverge from the surface of the Earth.
Let's see. He says it again. He thinks that the water level, because it establishes a horizontal plane of reference, will diverge from the surface of the Earth. Weird, that, isn't it? Why would anyone think that? Imagine thinking that at the beginning of this argument. Like, obviously, he'll have sorted that up, right? He wouldn't make those sort of mistakes if were he to do it again.
With increasing distance.
Make sure again. The water level, the tool, establishes a plane, and you say that plane diverges from the surface.
That's right.
That's right. Again, third time. Thank you.
Okay.
What about it now?
That must diverge from the surface. Must do.
All right. There was one other guy asking questions. I think I could, if you wanted to, but then I need to get back to some other stuff.
Here we go. Listen to this. I'll play this
you
bit.
do.
But he's asking me anything. What the fuck? Sorry.
So who was that had another question?
Come on, DP. Well, can I ask what's up then? What do you think about the idea that a water level establishes a horizontal plane that diverges from the surface of the Earth? What do you reckon about that? What's up?
If it's, what is diverging from what again?
The water level establishes a horizontal plane, and somehow that horizontal plane diverges from something, is what McToon said. I don't know. I'm still trying to wrap it around.
I don't get the question, to be honest with you, because if it's a horizontal plane, then it's a horizontal plane throughout.
No,
matter
he
how
said
far you
he said 2 he said 2 points of the water level.
Oh, here we go.
Establish a horizontal plane.
Yep.
Yeah, high school graduates
That's
agree
what
with
we've
him.
been saying, RC, yes.
It'll
2
be
points of the
tangent
water
at the
level
mid-
do make a horizontal plane, yes.
Tangent at the
Literally,
mid.
a horizontal plane is infinite, by the way. Like literally, that's how it's presented. Frame of reference. Therefore, it's supposed to be infinite.
Okay. So I'm hoping McToon will want to talk about this, but did everybody get clear on that? That McToon. I think I've got another one as well. I've got a more recent one. Because you think like, oh, well, you know. It's McToon, right? That was 4 years ago. Four years ago, he'll want to be changing that sort of stuff, won't he? Come on, let me get this.
Definition of level.
Right, so this is I don't know what that is. Where's that coming from? Oh, it's gone anyway. So this is McToon. Now he's been flown to Pastor Will Duffy's church. Will Duffy is the guy that's leading the flat earth. No. The final experiment, where they're all going on a trip, like a lads' weekend away. Oh, actually, no. Elizabeth's going as well. Like a holiday camp to the Antarctica to go and watch sun circles. Nobody's actually got an argument for to support the experiment that they've got at the minute. At least I've not seen one. I do have one, so if anybody's out there looking for an argument to support the final experiment, because it's TFE, I keep getting confused with Fight the Flat Earth. It's all of those letters, they're all there, you know. So that's why I get confused with it. So this is McToon and his flat earth friend got flown out to I don't know, wherever his church is, because they live in one place in America, and I've heard it's a big place, and they had to go to another place, and it's a bit different than in the UK. They had to fly there. So this is like a bit of a show that they did, right? And I said that this was McToon lying to the congregation of Will Duffy's church. But I mean, you can judge for yourself. I think we've been over it a few times, but just to put you on track with what we've just been talking about at McToon, because that was like 4 years ago, where he's talking about the horizontal plane, established by a water level and at the beach and all of that sort of stuff. But don't listen to this.
So that's what the stars do. They go in a circle. Psalm 147 verse 4, he tells the number of the stars, he calls them all by their
definition of level when talking about the earth is that it's curved. That was the prophecy, here's what's going to happen in the future. Obviously, we're in Colorado, we can look and we can see that the mountains are still there. So if there's some prophecy about the mountains being laid low and the valleys being lifted up, well, obviously that hasn't happened yet. We can look outside and see the mountains.
Yep, we can. We can see mountains, right? So we know that the Earth's not flat. But I don't think that is what he's talking about, the flattening of the land. But he said that the mountains are still there, so we know that that hasn't happened. And so, it's not such a ridiculous thing as people say, because you've just heard McToon say it, right? It's not happened. The mountains are still there. It's not flat.
So I don't know how that doesn't necessarily relate to the entirety of the earth, and it certainly doesn't relate to today. So
the mountains are there.
I don't know where that really connects to the shape of the Earth today. The definition of level, you're right. If you look in Webster, or Merriam-Webster, the definition of level in the adjective, which is the descriptor, right, describing something, the very first one, that's the adjective, says that level is the curved surface pertaining, or the curve pertaining to the surface of the Earth.
Except it doesn't. Conforming, it says. Conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of the Earth's surface, if I can remember correctly. And as we've just been discussing, you heard him talk about it earlier, a water level, which is part of the liquid parts of the Earth's surface, establishes a horizontal plane. He's just told you. Now, and as we know, right, there's no curvature to a horizontal plane, is there? So that wouldn't suggest curvature at all. But, hey.
So the actual definition of level when talking about the Earth is that it's curved.
No, that's a lie. Again, McToon, blatantly lying, because you've just heard him talking about a water level 4 years ago and how it establishes a horizontal plane of reference.
Now, flat is a better word, and that's
Flat's not a better word.
What you really want. I mean,
no. It's what McToon really wants. It's not a very good descriptor. It's just a visual surface descriptor. McToon here is being dishonest by saying that level curves in the dictionary, which is a blatant lie, as he knows that. But he's also lying again. McToon, if you're out there and you would like to comment upon any of this rather than just saying you misspoke, like you do tend to do.
It doesn't make sense to play word games and definition games, right? Because none of that changes the shape of the Earth, right? The Earth is the shape it is. Whether
the real globe is already there, it does exist, and we can tell you the elevation changes, the distances between A to B, all of that sort of stuff. We can do that, right? In the real globe. And I think that's what McToon's trying to say here.
Whether the definition of level means flat or curve.
Well, it doesn't mean curved. And you're being dishonest here, McToon, by saying that the word games don't count. Because reality obviously stands to be true, and you can prove that level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. We can prove that, but McToon, again, he's just misspeaking, or that's what he calls it. We call it blatant lying and dishonesty. In front of a congregation, don't forget, he's up on the stage of a church of his friend Will Duffy. This is McToon.
So go measure it.
Go measure it.
And so you had the definition of a plane.
Have you measured it? Jesse Kozlowski asked me, have you measured it? Has anybody else measured it? Anyone? Do you think McToon has measured it? Do you think, like Nathan Oakley, where he tells people to measure angles, do you think McToon has actually measured whether level is horizontal or whether a straight line lies within a plane? Do you reckon McToon has ever done his own Realising Euclid test to do any of that sort of stuff? I don't know. Who has? Me.
In reference to the surface of the Earth, a plane is also a curved surface.
There you go. I'll play that again, right? Because this is a blatant lie number 2, but it's supporting his blatant lie number 1. Sort of. You may say that, he's got used to it, right? We may have helped him initiate this argument where he knows, he says a water level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane 4 years ago, but now has to change it because dogmatic globe. He's a big man in the dogmatic globe, and he's up on the pulpit at the church of globe. He has to say this particular rhetoric. This is what he has to say.
Measure it. And so you had the definition of a plane. In reference to the surface of the earth, a plane is also a curved surface.
The definition of a plane in the surface of the earth is a curved surface. But a plane is a fundamental within geometry. And geometry, when you break that word up, it's geo, which is earth, and the metra is the measurement. Earth measurement. Now, within the fundamentals of that is a book called The Elements. I think very highly of it. It's a book of pure logic, one of the finest axiomatic systems known to man. And that's the fundamentals of mathematics. All of mathematics, all of modern mathematics is built upon the fundamentals within this book, Geometry, The Elements of Geometry by Euclid. Look it up. Buy a copy before they're all gone. They're a rare thing. And one of the best methods of teaching yourself anything. Logic, pure logic. So he's saying that within that's called geometry, earth measurement, he's saying in context of the earth, the plane curves, which is a direct contradiction of the very fundamentals of the foundations of mathematics. Now, does anybody say anything to McToon? Does anybody say anything? To this day, I think I'm the only one that said anything to McToon about this particular thing. And he told me it was a misspeak. He misspoke. And therefore, I'm being dishonest in pointing these sort of things out. Yet, seems to me, McToon is contradicting himself. And one of my fundamentals is that I don't allow contradictions. And if I do see a contradiction, I have this thing, maybe it's and like a nervous tick, but I have to tell people when I see these contradictions. And this is one of those contradictions. Unfortunately, McToon has seen it that he's going to mute me on his server and then tell people that I've been muted for being a racist. But I don't even know what evidence he has for any of that. It's just, I don't know, like smear campaign, libel, slander. I don't know. But I've heard that none of those laws matter anymore. Particularly if you've labelled somebody a flat earther. You can basically do whatever you want. Particularly within this community. Even if the people that you're talking about have got a proof that the Earth's not flat, maybe they can prove the real globe, or maybe they've got plenty of proofs within reality to prove the real globe. But I mean, if you still label them flat earther, then you can say whatever you want about them. And particularly if you do it in a way and bring the flat earthers in, then the flat earthers can also call you a glober and do exactly the same thing, because that's the way it works. It's 2024. This is a particular weird place on the internet where you get ridiculed and shamed for holding true to these Euclidean principles of logic. One big pond. I don't know. I don't know what that means. No, a level is a tool, one big pond. A level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. Hello. I don't get what you're talking about. A level is a tool for establishing a horizontal plane of reference. So if anything required to be level, then you're best off using one of those tools. And then you can associate one point with another point and say that both of those points are on the same level. They're on the same vertical. It's really weird. I don't know why flat earthers get so upset, because the dogmatic globers just get as similarly just as upset, and all we're doing is talking about reality. Aloof. What? I don't even know what that is. Come in and explain. One pond. Come on. Come and have a chat. I know you're not silent, right? You can voice all of this stuff, but I don't know who you're representing. You're just representing you. And like, what is it you think I'm not saying? I'm telling you, the Earth's not flat. Do you want to argue about that? Do you want to argue in favour of a flat Earth when it's pretty obvious to everyone that the Earth's not flat? Do you want to argue that level isn't horizontal or horizontal isn't level? The fact that certain people will label you, and because they want the argument to change. They want it to be flat earth, but it isn't. It's reality. I'm not handing reality over to something I know to be not true. It's fucking crazy. Such a weird place. All horizontals established with the plumb line are parallel. You do not establish horizontals with a plumb line. That's flawed logic. Horizontals are parallel, but you don't establish them with a plumb line. That's crazy. I don't know. Maybe you've not quite understood that. You will never deny it. Crazy.
That's going to be, what surveyors are going to say is that the elevation doesn't change, and the elevation is measured relative to the ellipsoid of the Earth.
It says, I'll go back again. Listen to this. This is McToon on stage of a church.
Measure it. And so you had the definition of a plane. In reference to the surface of the Earth, a plane is also a curved surface. That's going to be, what surveyors are going to say is that...
Surveyors aren't going to say that planes curve, because that's fucking mental. So, I don't know what McToon's saying. I mean, like, some crazy stuff. But don't forget, he's on the stage of Will Duffy's church. And what else does he say?
The elevation doesn't change.
The elevation doesn't change. The elevation does change. Is there anyone else can anyone else verify that the elevation does change? Because listen to what McToon says on stage of a church.
In reference to the surface of the Earth, a plane is also a curved surface. That's going to be, what surveyors are going to say is that the elevation doesn't change, and the elevation
doesn't change. Surveyors aren't going to say that. it'd be a bit of an easy job, right, if surveyors would say that the elevation doesn't change, because they'd never have to measure for the elevation changing if the elevation doesn't change. And surveyors, that's one of the things that they do, is that they measure elevation changes. People in this arena, I'm pretty sure they've drove themselves mad. They've developed their own nonsense arguments, and nobody else can pick them up on it. Because what they do is they just silence people. They kick you out. They mute you. They do whatever to stop you from talking. Maybe they'll tell everybody that you're a racist and stuff when they do mute you. Stop you from talking. Stop you from asking them questions. They'll then go and slander, libel you, right? It doesn't matter to these people. They don't care.
Is measured relative to the ellipsoid of the Earth. So now you talked about, is the Earth at rest or in motion?
See, that was it. He just brushed past it. McToon. I'd say lying, disingenuous, but he'd say misspeaking. Right? So, I mean, it's up to you. Call it whatever you want. McToon, misspeaking, dogmatic globe earther. Right? Just misspeaking on the stage of a church that he's been invited to do a sermon like he has. We'll go over these sermons that he did because they are a classic. We've been over Beddy religifying the globe. Well, you get to see McToon as the evangelic preacher of globe on his stage. He's practicing. He's getting quite good, I think. I think some people will be impressed. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to get... Something's happened to me. To me thing. It's nice. I might have to change it for something else. Okay. Anybody else want to talk about anything? I got
Let's see. We've got James A. for £5 says, Bev thought a water level gave him horizontal, but you didn't pick him up on it.
Yeah, I might want to watch this. This is only a 2-minute one. This is one just for Buster.
Let's see. We've got James A. for £5 says, Bev thought a water level gave him horizontal, but you didn't pick him up on it.
What we did.
I think that now this is a level, not a water level.
Yeah, that's not the same thing, is it?
A water level does establish a horizontal for 1 point. Right, so I'll cover what a water level is. Imagine you have a tube and it's connected, right? So imagine these two pens are connected. And you put water in them, right? And the top is open so like the water can flow up and down. What'll happen is they'll level out and they'll stop moving and they'll sit there like this. And when you sight across the top of them, that establishes a horizontal for the position that's right in the middle of them, right? Not for this position and not for this position, just for the middle of those two positions. Now, if the Earth is flat, that horizontal will be the same everywhere, right? So you could go a mile away and establish and use the same tool to measure a horizontal at the point that's between them, and so then you have two horizontals, and then you could test to see if those two planes are parallel to each other. If the Earth is spherical, then those two planes of horizontalness for that point will diverge from each other, and that's what he needs to test. He needs to test to see if horizontal at two different places are the same.
This is it, baby. You obviously think level means flat.
There has to be bending water. There just has to be.
Down the street with you, yeah. My pretty baby. You obviously think level means flat, but it doesn't. And I don't know why everyone seems to think that it does. Baby. Yeah, my pretty baby. I want to walk down the beach with you, yeah. You obviously think level means flat.
There has to be bending water. There just has to be.
There has to be. There has to be. It has to be bendy water. There's no other way it can be, right? 'Tis globe. Has to be. No, only on the real globe, right? The real globe has level being horizontal. Everyone knows that. This ridiculous dogmatic globe has to have that sort of shit. But the real globe would never ask you to have contradictions like that. Crazy. That's seek truth, speak lies, I think. He blocked me too. I can't talk to him either. Can't even post anything for him. He was a flat earther. He was an ex-flat earther. But then got to talk to him on Jose's, right? And he said I was the first flat earther that he'd ever talked to, even though I wasn't a flat earther. And I told him I wasn't a flat earther. But he, they're all confused. That was a little mix I did for him. I think Buster's got that as his ring tune. No joke. Right. Is anybody... It's a free-for-all Friday. Nobody's really said anything. It's just been me talking about McToon and his misspeak. I mean, I'm not too sure whether you'd trust McToon to be able to point fingers at people and be the one to I don't know. Would you trust McToon? Would you trust McToon to have a coffee with you? Maybe McToon and Brenda. Would you have coffee with McToon and Brenda? Because I've heard that they do that. Certain people get a chance to have coffee with McToon and Brenda. Does anybody else want to come in? It looks like they've got somebody in the chat, in the YouTube chat. Are you going to be coming in? You got some questions? You got questions for the Real Globe? Fielding questions for the Real Globe? M Stone. I don't know. Is that misgendering? Or is he talking to somebody? I don't know. Stone, are you talking to somebody else out there? I'm not too sure whether that person's around here. Yes. The Realising Euclid test is a real globe test. And you can go and tell anyone. go to universities, schools, classrooms. It's for teaching people the basic principles of Euclidean geometry. Obviously occurs in reality. You can prove to yourself that reality is obviously Euclidean space, but you do learn the principles and understanding of logic structure implemented into a geometric form. Probably the best way of teaching logic, proofs and everything. There's one thing that is true. Oh, that's the thing I need Buster to do. We need to get on with the wisdom thing. Is there anybody else wanted to say anything? Wow, we got some... Wow, old school names. I mean, M. Stone's been around forever, I think. He was one of the ones having a fight in one of the earlier flat earth things. He's like, I don't know why you're around here. What have you accomplished with this channel? Loads. Well, I think we've found real globe proofs. We obviously know how to prove that the Earth's not flat, which I think is much more than these debunkers have been doing. We've got a direct proof that the Earth's not flat. Yeah, well, it's only a little channel, Stone. I mean, come on. It is only a small channel, and we haven't had the benefits of anybody helping us. Like in fact, we've had worse. We've had people discouraging us. So I'm surprised we're still here. But thanks to you, people like you, M. Stone, keep us going. Your hatred drives us. Fueled by your bigotry, we strive on. So keep it coming. Thank you very much. Oh, I wanted to put in the... did you see the title? You know, the unwitting sophist. Sophist unwittingly becomes a vehicle for intellectual growth. Thank you very much, Level Bastard, for that one. The most knowledgeable logician that ever lived. Let me just cue that one up, actually, because I need to... I haven't even...
It is with...
I haven't even put this on. Okie dokie, what are we on there? Oh, I'm going to have to swap that over. Sorry, guys. This is 3 minutes 33. Look how lucky that is. Right, I'm going to play this. I'll be back in a bit. We aren't going. We're not ending out. Just playing this for a second.
It is with a mix of bewilderment and intrigue that I pen this forward for the arguments that have been presented as the self-proclaimed most knowledgeable logician that ever lived. I must confess that I approach this task with trepidation. For it is not often that one encounters an author so determined to flout the fundamental principles of logic. However, as an honest woman, I also appreciate the value of intellectual discourse, even when it comes from the most unlikely of sources. The most knowledgeable logician I ever lived. Within those whose words our esteemed author presents a collection of thoughts that he audaciously labels as logical arguments. Yet upon closer examination, one quickly realizes that the author's commitment to the laws of logic is at best flimsy and often non-existent. We find ourselves immersed in a labyrinth of contradictions and paradoxes, where the law of identity casually disregarded, the law of non-contradiction is consistently violated, and the law of the excluded middle is summarily dismissed. One might wonder why such paralogisms deserve any attention at all, let alone a foreword from someone with my esteemed reputation. The answer lies in the importance of discernment and critical thinking. By engaging with the sophists' convoluted reasoning, we are forced to question the very foundations of logic and confront the deceptive nature of fallacious arguments. In a peculiar twist of fate, the sophist unwittingly becomes an unwitting catalyst for intellectual growth. This perplexing journey, I implore you, O listener, to exercise your fullest faculties of reason. Question the author's assertions, dissect his claims, and challenge the paradoxical tapestry he weaves. Remember that the true pursuit of knowledge is not found in blind acceptance, but in a relentless pursuit of truth, guided by the unwavering principles of logic. Whilst it may seem unusual for the most knowledgeable logician that ever lived to lend her voice to a word that fundamentally contradicts her very being, I believe that confronting the sophist head-on, we shine a spotlight on the power of logical reasoning and the necessity of intellectual honesty. The most knowledgeable logician ever lived. In closing, let us embark on this bewildering expedition together. Let us navigate the maze of sophistry and emerge with sharpened minds, fortified against fallacy and armed with unyielding principles of logic strengthened by rhetoric. The self-proclaimed most knowledgeable logician that ever lived. The most knowledgeable logician that ever lived. The most knowledgeable logician that ever lived. That ever lived. That ever lived. Though the journey may be challenging, the reward lies in the realization that even in the face of deliberate deception, the light of reason will prevail. Yours in the pursuit of truth. Yours in the pursuit of truth. The most knowledgeable logician that ever lived. The most knowledgeable logician that ever lived. The most knowledgeable logician that ever lived. That ever lived. The self-proclaimed most knowledgeable logician that ever lived. The most knowledgeable logician that ever lived. The self-proclaimed most knowledgeable logician that ever lived. That ever lived. That ever lived. The self-proclaimed most knowledgeable logician that ever lived. That ever lived. That ever lived.
Timing. Okay. That's only because the title was The Sophist. So, the sophist does become the unwitting, and that's why I'm still here. Because these sophists that we're dealing with, I'm not too sure whether most of them are actually aware that they're sophists. I mean, can you imagine a sophist that doesn't know the logic? Because to me, like, a true sophist would have to know the argument and know a way to divert people from the actual argument into like a trickery sort of thing. But I'm not too sure these people actually are aware of the actual logic. So they're sort of they're just saying sort of weird shit, but they don't know it because they don't know how to form the logic to start off with. And that's why we're here today. We have, well, let's say we've attempted to. And if anybody does want to come and have a chat, just to make sure they want to come and, you know, expose us for whatever reason, if you want to come and correct us in any way, we're here. We're open. Apart from, you know, certain people that have been banned already. Most people aren't. There's the list of people that have been banned from On the Level server it's not very big. We can check it. So if you do want to come, if you want to come and ask anything about the real globe, any about proofs that we have within reality. If you're curious, maybe you're a flat earther, right? And you're wondering exactly how Nathan Oakley manages to say that he's measured the earth flat. Well, I'll tell you, you don't. He's lying to you. He's not got anything. He's never even measured an angle with a sextant himself. As most of the people around here. They've not got a clue. But we won't try and force anything upon you either. The real globe will not require you to accept any contradictions. Everything's simple. We should be able to just talk about it. Yes, M. Stone. Everybody knows what Stone's like, right? He has a reputation as, I mean, I'm not even a flat earther, but he's taken on what McToon has said and fight the flat earth, and therefore he can use his rampant bigotry towards this group of people that I'm not even part of, but, his friends have pointed him in this direction and said, look, I know you're really bigoted towards this group of people. Well, just imagine that Bev is in one of those group of people, right? And you can then practice your bigotry because it's allowed. It is 2024, and there is, like Extremis said, there is a certain group of people that it's okay for you to do these sort of things too. Whether you are actually part of that group, it doesn't really matter because these guys can just sort of point fingers at you and tell you that you are. In fact, they can even say that if you think that horizontal is level, i.e. has no slope and an equal elevation, then you're one of these people that they can practice their bigotry towards. So, should we let people know about this sort of thing, right? What you should be able to do and say. Do you think that horizontal is level? Right, but get that on a t-shirt. Because if you do, then McToon will be able to practice his bigotry upon you and fight the flat earth. And you know what they say about people that they consider part of the group that they're bigoted against. They can say whatever they want. You want to see what some of them were calling me this week? And there's a channel over there in McToon's server if you're lucky enough to be able to get over there. And you'll be able to see exactly what they can say and do to this group of people. They've made a new class of people as well called OTL. It's made specifically for this particular Discord server. Now, I'm not too sure Discord takes too kindly to this sort of behaviour, but it seems like, they've segregated themselves off into this group of people that can do whatever they want, particularly to this other group of people, as Extremis says. Okay. Anybody? Anyone want to say anything? If not, let me find a tune. Yeah, spot on. Not had a bit of spot on for a bit. Okie dokie. So, when we did the test, the Realising Euclid Test, which, we did a fair few years ago, as a reply mainly to all of these people who questioned me, right? They said, can you prove he said, can you prove that level is horizontal? And I thought about that, and then that's not really the sort of thing that you should be able to prove. So I chose to go for proposition 1 of the elements, book 11, though, solid geometry, the geometry of reality, I call it, right? So all of the other books were leading up to the reality part of the geometry to prove, because you can't just jump in at reality and start saying geometries like this. You have to be able to prove it from conception, from the point to the line to the plane, on and on and on, to lead up to book 11, which is reality. And that's when my particular Realising Euclid test came out, and I did that with Spot On. We talked about it. And that was the only way that we were how we did this, is that me and Spot On and the people around here, but mainly me and Spot On, talked about this test and how to be able to do it, how we would do it. And we were lucky enough to actually do this test. Like I say, some fantastic people. But it's the communication that occurred while we were doing it. So I hope this one works. I hope my thing's going out. So this is Spot On and his 2D earthers. Is it?
This is the one with me at the beginning.
I think so, but I'm not too sure it's working. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, here we go. This is the one with you at the beginning.
It make you look like embarrassed or something, but that was a straight factual statement. This is what they want people to think is stupid.
Well, like he says, Bev, and only deals with surveying, and that surveying is 3D. Reality is 3D. We've always said that. We definitely are not 2D earthing. Whereas...
No, I'm not either.
What Brian's saying here... I'll go one more. Let's listen.
Oh, go ahead, Brian. Well, one second. When Bev is referencing measurements, he's purely focusing on surveying. Said the last time I was on, surveying deals with 3 dimensions, right? Length, breadth, and depth. Whereas when it comes to celestial navigation and aerospace, we're only dealing with length and breadth, not dealing with depth. They're not dealing with elevation changes. So when Bev speaks about measurements, he's only speaking about them from a surveying point of view, which will be elevation changes.
Yeah, it's 3D. Reality, yes.
But he's still contradicting himself, because he's talking about this angle measurements on vertical plane. They measure by that elevation changes, because these stars have different angles, so he is measuring elevation changes.
Yeah, elevation profiles measure elevation changes of the land. But that's the 2D plane that they're working in.
Elevation changes. So when Bev speaks about celestial navigation and aerospace, we're only dealing with length and breadth, dealing with depth. They're not dealing with elevation changes.
Right, yeah, so they're not dealing with elevation changes.
So this is nonsense.
Yeah, I think it's nonsense. I don't think he understands what he's talking about. Because of course they're dealing with elevation changes. Or unless you're talking about like a map. But even maps have contour lines on them. So
he's thinking about just putting his arms out and pretending he's an aeroplane, I think.
I'm struggling to try and work out what he is, right? It's one of those moments where you have to believe that he's talking nonsense, because I can't make any sense out of it. And if Brian wants to come and try and help us make sense out of it, then be my guest, pop in, come and have a chat. But I can't make any sense out of why Brian's saying this. That reality is 3D, and that's what Beb's talking about, but they're not talking about that.
And by the way, this is 2D he's talking about is not horizontal. He's talking about vertical plane, not horizontal plane. So it is 2D, but not horizontal. But only horizontal proves flat Earth. Vertical disproves flat Earth. Complete nonsense. He's arguing
nonsense,
against himself.
Yeah, that's what's some of the magic tricks within this is that these guys have developed this paracosm that they've lived in, where they just get used to talking nonsense to each other. And I think that's why Nathan Oakley hands this off to somebody else, because, you know, he can't really talk the nonsense because it doesn't really make any sense to him. So he hands it off to somebody else, but when that somebody else is also talking nonsense, this is what you get left with. It's mad.
So when Bev speaks about measurements, he's only speaking about them from a surveying point of view. Will be elevation changes.
No, Brian, right? Well, the thing is, when you have a point, you locate it on the horizontal. Right, that's your X and your Y, your grid position. You then can give that a position on the vertical datum also. There's a location marker, and then it gets placed upon the vertical datum also, that position. That's the way it works in reality. That's what surveyors do. We know that. We know how these measurements are taken. We know how the benchmarks are transposed from one position to another. And Nathan should too. How difficult.
It was okay when I said to him, I said, Bev was there, and I said, there's no better book.
And this again, right? Listen to the words that Brian uses. It's pretty sad, Brian. Pretty sad. Right, but you might have got the impression that he said it to me. He didn't. He said it to Elderbear. And I was in the room. But he wasn't addressing it to me. But now he seems to be addressing it as though he was addressing it to me, although he just said it in the presence of. But listen to what he said.
There's no better, more correct way to describe the Earth than flat.
Not flat. It's more. It's a little. It doesn't give you much more information, but it gives you more information than flat, because flat is a lie, and not flat is vague, but it's not a lie.